With the impressive idea for artists to create by simply swiping and sketching, the folks at askNK have created and released Next Street version 2. This is geometry-based add-on that offers high-quality roads and street assets with options to toggle various parameters. Users can easily work and tweak any of these street assets, which includes lights, characters, benches, trees, cars, bus stops, imperfections, street, signs, and so much more. And for those who like to get this, currently they're doing a 22% off, and there's an additional 22% off coupon code for askNK audience, which is going to be in the description. And with that said, let's get right into it. So once you download this add-on, all you need to do is fire up Blender, go over to Edit, go over to Preference and install it. And then once you tap N on the keyboard, you would notice that you have the ST sign, which is a short form for street. Let's get rid of the cube, switch over to Z-axis, zoom all the way out, and then we can click on the Draw Street button. And from there, we can draw a street. So I'm just going to go ahead and draw a simple street, and you can see that. And because this actually works with Bezier curves, you can go through and change the Bezier however you want it. If you like to extend this is totally up to you, and you can do some fun stuff with it as well. And for those thinking about intersections, of course we can add intersections as well. So we're just going to go back and select the draw tool, and we can add a very simple intersection like so. And the same thing also applies to this. So just in case you're also thinking about making some changes, you want to update this, you can of course tweak this to your heart content. And once you're done with this, there are lots of parameters and options that you can play with. You can turn off a lot of things. So let's switch back to object view and take a look at this from the perspective. First things first, if you want to increase the street width, you can of course increase the street width. And of course, you notice we have some collisions happening there, which we're also going to talk about in a bit. And we can also drop that down as well. Now let's talk about the parameters. For parameters, you have parameters for every single thing here. So if you want to turn off any of this, you can. So we can turn off the lights, we can turn off the characters, we can turn off the cars, and you can work with what you have here. So just in case you have your own custom cars you want to bring in, you can bring them in and you can do whatever you want. If you have custom trees that you like to work with, you can also bring in your custom trees and also work with this. The same thing applies to every other thing that we have here. So let's go ahead and bring back everything and talk about some of the fixtures and also some of the parameters. First off, if we play with the lights, there are sets of lights that you can pick from. So you're not only restricted to one kind of light, you have several kinds of lights. So we can click and select any of these lights that exist here and play with the options that are available to us. And once you're comfortable with light, you can also play with a couple of parameters that deals with spacing. So in this case, if you would like to bring them a bit more closer, you can set this to 50. And if you like to spread them a bit out, you can set this to 100 or 150. I think 100 is a sweet spot for these, so this looks very nice. You can also play with the intensity of the light. And speaking about intensity and things you can do, let's switch this to cycles, switch this to GPU, make sure we have the denoising turned on, and take a look at this while it renders. So for this one, if you'd like to change the colors, we can just go ahead and change the colors, get something a bit warmer, something like that. And that looks good. We can play with the power. We can hide this from the viewport if we don't want that. And we can also bring this back. So depending on the look that you're going for, you can actually play with these things and get some very brilliant results. And the same thing applies to characters. So for the characters, you have a good number of characters. And these are pretty much low poly characters that you can just simply have as crowd characters working in your scene. Like this character on boots, we have another character there that's a female character. Then we have some more right here just spread around. And you can choose to play with the density of the character. So you want to have more characters in your viewport. You can get more characters. If you want to drop the number of characters that you have, you can also do that. So more characters, less characters. You have all of the options. You can play with the seeding. And that doesn't stop there. One of the most interesting ones is working with the cars. So the cars has density, which you can play with. So you can play with the density of the cars that you have. You can also play with how many ways that this has. If you just want to have a one-way traffic, you can just have this as one way. And you can see that if you like to have multiple ways, like a two-way, you can also do that. You can play with the seed, which is how this gets to be arranged in your viewport. And you'd also notice that the cars that we have here are not only one set of cars. We have cars that ranges from sedans all the way to SUVs, MPVs going on, and vans. And these are very interesting stuff. If you press your playback button, you'd notice that these cars get animated and they are all fully textured. And these are wonderful things to have, especially for those aerial shots that you want to have a bit of movement happening in your scene. And in terms of materials, there's a good number of materials that comes with this, and you can flip between the materials that you want to work with. So if I go all the way down, let's take a look at this. So if we go all the way down, we have the sidewalk, so we can set the sidewalk material. So we can change the sidewalk material if this is what we want. If we would like to also change the brickline material, we can also change the brickline material to materials like this. So you have a good number of options with this particular one. In terms of services, you have a good number of assets that you can work with at the same time. So we can go right here, we can change it to a fire hydrant service. If you want to change this to a billboard, you can also do that. And for the customization, just in case you would like to replace what you have here, you can go over to the materials section, click on the drop down, go right here where you have the material, and you can change it from the base material that you have here. So just in case you're thinking about customizing that, it is super customizable, so that shouldn't be a problem. Once you want to play with things like benches, you also have a variety of benches that comes with this, and you can make any selections from these ones that exist. And the same thing applies to the signs. So you have pretty much the same set of parameters that deals with spacing, shifting, and you can fiddle with these things to get the perfect result that you want. And we also have imperfections. Now, these imperfections deals with trash and leaves that you can find on the road. And you can also choose to play with the density of how much you get to find on your viewport. So let's switch back and take a look at this. So you can add as much as you want, and you can see that adding, and you can also proceed to bring these ones down. Now, these are for the leaves. So if you want to see the trash, if you set this back to 0, this automatically turns to trash. So you can see the trashes that exist right here. So let's just zoom in, and you can see a bit of folded paper, some soda cans, and you can see some ruffled stuff here and there, some nylons on the road, and you can use these to enhance the realism of the scene that you're going for. The materials that you get here are high quality materials. The same thing applies with the assets that you have here. And overall, this is an amazing tool. So this is more like it. NextSketch version 2 is an amazing tool for those who like to create roads and also have road assets attached to them. And of course, a huge shout out to the folks at Next Architecture for making this possible. And for those who like to get this, currently they're doing a 22% off sale, which is running till the 12th of December 2022. And if you like to get an additional 22% off, you can simply use the coupon code NK1 and you'll be getting an additional 22% off the deal that is going on right now. And for those who like to take a look at some of the other tools that they have, links to this is also going to be in the description, so do well to check it out. Tell me what you guys think about this one, and of course, if you like this video or you learned something from this, you can go ahead and give a like, and don't forget to share with a friend. And I'd like to see you guys in the next one. Peace.